Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And I don't know if you noticed this or not, but Mr. Magazine is wearing a flak jacket today. He is... Just go with me on this.
Okay.
I have warned him that this is going to get a little bit contentious compared to most of our videos. And I've told him I'm not putting him on the spot. And now I'm going to put him on the spot. Mr. Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw a magazine out at you, a title.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me how well it sells.
Okay. Yep. Is
Newsweek.
there a number, a rating? Or
Just whatever you feel. Newsweek magazine.
Generally slowly.
Time magazine.
I would say average, consecutive. We sell some regularly.
People magazine.
More than Newsweek, less than Time.
How do you know this?
Just from seeing the orders every day. I don't have exact numbers.
So you
but
don't know it. Exactly. And that's my point. And that's the point going into this.
I know enough of it.
And that's the point going into this. A number of years ago, the state basically changed the way they were managing, and they got very, very data-driven. And sports have gotten very, very data-driven, analytics, and all that kind of stuff. And I guess my question to you, Mr. Magazine, is how well could analytics work for our businesses? Would they help? And would it be possible to implement them?
I think they certainly would help, and I think you could certainly implement them. Absolutely, because there's certain things that we're doing now, looking ahead, getting rid of some. I'll give you an example. We got magazines that are taking up rows and rows in our warehouse from 10 years ago.
Okay. Listed?
Okay. Some boxes have been combined, so they would either be half full or full, depending on being combined. But over the course of 10 years, we've hardly sold any. And when they do sell, they're $5 to $10.
Right. Okay.
They're hard to find, or the condition is less now because they've been...
Like Private Pilot magazine or something like that.
Right,
yes.
Yeah. Car magazine for the most part. So... we're looking at, now we mix them with eBay and Amazon, so I'll try and make this brief, but it's hard to just end certain boxes.
Okay.
We want to end them and get them out of there. So what we're doing right now, we started this as we're ending anything that's eBay, because you can end them in bulk with the date code.
Easy enough to do, right.
And at some point we're going to do a whole unit. We just started this a few days ago, writing down the eBay codes, having one employee end them all in bulk. Eventually we'll wipe out that whole 5 Hartman racks, 400 or 500 boxes. It's 10 years old. What we're going to start listing are movies that people have been asking for that we would sell regularly. So I don't need to know the exact numbers, but when I talk to my pullers, we sell 1 here a week, 2 here a week, and out of this 500 boxes in this half row that's taking up space, $100 we're grossing. Whereas if we emptied one of them and started listing something that's going to sell, that's fresh, that's new, that we're going to dedicate time to, obviously we're going to make more money.
Now let me play devil's advocate on that for a moment.
Sure.
Could one of the reasons why those magazines are not selling be poor listing?
Definitely part of it. Also, definitely when we were amateurs back then, we listed anything and thought it was going to sell, and some of the stuff did sell. Or back then, Time and Newsweek, and people were less competitive.
Right.
So there would only be a handful of people with certain ones on there. Now everyone's got a bunch of them on there. Prices maybe were $18 to $20 because they're harder to find, certain ones. Now they're $5 to $10. So a lot of things have changed in the course of 10 years.
See, and I bring this up because I sold something or other today from a library sale that I went to, or church sale that I went to in 2020. And so far this year, 2023, I have almost paid for everything that I bought at that church sale in 2020. Just out of 2023 sales. I'm like 80% there in 2023 sales.
Okay.
Of course, I made my money back in 2020. I made more than I spent in 2021, and I made more than I spent in 2022. So it's going to be 4 straight years that one set of church sales, say I went to 6 church sales in 2020, I'll have, say I spent $100. I'll have made more than $100 in 2020, more than $100 in 2021, more than $100 in 2022, and set to make more than $100 in 2023. That tells me church sales in general can be fairly profitable.
Now, I got to ask you, over each year or in the course of the 3 or 4 years you're going back, how much time have you dedicated to writing these stats down?
very little. Well, that kind of leads into my next point. I would say cumulatively, probably a day. I mean, really. But when you think about it, if I sell them, because I put in my date code, my box code, I put down where I got it from. I'll say like Church Sale 2020.
Okay.
And so then I sell a book for $12. I literally go to a spreadsheet and I put in $12 and the date.
So the whole box would be from that church sale?
No.
Just certain items?
Just certain items.
So you do that for every item you have in there?
Post 2019 and after, yes. If something enters from 2017, I have no idea where I bought it from. I started keeping track of stuff in 2019. It taught me that library sales are not nearly as good as I thought they were. It taught me that eBay is a terrible place for me to buy. I bought stuff back at the beginning of 2021 on eBay. I've still not made my money back off of it. Believe that or not.
No, I believe it because I've made some of those moves years ago when we knew a lot less. And we thought there was good lots on there, and we invested. Oh, we can break that up. I'm Mr. Magazine. I'll buy this magazine lot. And I agree, same outcome. I mean, I didn't do the numbers like you, but I know that if things are still on the shelf and we're hardly selling them.
Yep. Thrift stores are terrible for me. I've looked at that as well. The thrift stores are horrible. There are a couple of people that I buy from year after year after year. I'm watching the numbers. I make money on them, and I like the stuff that they sell me, but it's not particularly profitable. And if times were to get tough for some reason, like after I retire, if times were to get tough, it's telling me what deals I can live without. Let's put it that way. I mean, granted, I could live without any deal at this point, but but money starts getting tight. I'm sorry, I can't continue to buy from you. I'm really sorry about it. I'm just not making the money that I need to off of it, and so on. But that leads up to the next question. How much time can you spend on documenting, and what can you document? And that's where we really are, and I think most people watching this, unfortunately, are really behind the curve. The big dealers are not, and that is where you have the barcode for everything. Because if you have the barcode for everything, that barcode can tell you it's a Newsweek magazine, and then you can search through, and you can say, okay, I have 168 Newsweek magazines listed. I paid this for them, and I've sold 14 of them in 2 years. They're not hot sellers. So then when a Newsweek deal comes along, you can say, no, this is not a good deal for me to put my money into. Or perhaps you look and you say, wait a minute, I thought they were slow sellers. I bought 168. I only listed 10, and I've sold 8 out of those 10. Wait a minute, maybe Newsweek aren't selling because I never listed them. So there is so much data that we could get. But then the question comes in, where is the break even on using it? How much time do you want to put into doing it? And there's not a right answer. I guess it's what you feel comfortable doing. But I think that the more data that you are able to provide yourself, sometimes you'll be surprised, I think, by what you end up finding out when you actually look at the numbers. Because I'm sure there are things that you and I in our heads say, those always sell really good, and it turns out that they don't. Because either recency bias, we listed 100 of them. Wow, I sold 3 of them in the first week. Wow, those things fly off the shelves, and then you don't realize you don't sell another one for 8 months. Or it was something that was really hot back in the day, and you're like, oh, that sells really, really well, and then you buy another collection of them. I think that's something or other that surprised you, and you didn't run the numbers all the way through, but I think you definitely saw it, was Ring Magazine. You had higher grade Ring magazines, and you could not get what...
it's certain clientele for certain titles are just, I'll call them cheapskates. Ring Magazine's one, automobile ones are another one. But then you have certain people that might pay a lot for a cigar magazine. So it all really depends on your niche and stuff. But yeah, definitely crazy. But moving back to what you said about the big dealers, well, if I have 600,000 listings right now, I really can't go back and start barcoding. Maybe moving forward or something.
Yeah, you would have to do it like you get a new warehouse, and in that warehouse, everything that gets put in that warehouse is barcoded and
starting from scratch, not moving back.
Just that new warehouse.
Whatever
new stuff.
But if we put the old stuff into the new one, there's no way.
No, you couldn't do that. No. It would be this new warehouse is only getting new listings, and everything's gonna be barcoded. and that sort of thing. Definitely.
Yeah, and as far as time and investment into it, I was never a big fan of that when you were sorting comics alphabetically years ago. I didn't want to put time into it because it takes time to do that, and you're not selling all of them. So I look at it like, well, you're sorting 300 comics. Maybe we sold 30 in 10 years, so is it worth putting all that time in? Just like we had an employee that wanted to clean every record they listed. Well, I'm like, if we sell one record a week out of each box, why clean everyone now when we can just clean one when they sell? So it saves time that way. But this new IT guy I have, he comes up with these programs and stuff. For example, he found out that we have 20,000 suppressed Amazon listings.
Okay.
Over the last 10 years, they just compiled, and he looked into it, and he came up with a program that would lower the price or fix whatever the issues were almost automatically.
Oh, wow.
And he was able to, in 2 weeks, relist all those 20,000.
Wow.
I mean, that's massive. I mean, that's
Yeah,
like 6-7% of our inventory, Or he'll look at some of the dead stock items that, by highest price, there's $150, it's been dead. And then we'll pull it off. We'll see, well, was there a copyright issue or just the pricing? And we'll either relist it lower or correct it on Amazon, or we'll put it on eBay.
Right.
So things like that are putting us into that new age of where we want to be and be more efficient. So, you need someone like that. I can't do it myself. I don't have time and the knowledge for some of it, but he does.
Right.
So I let him, if he can, code something and list 500 items a day and do all that stuff, I mean, he's worth his weight in gold.
Right. Definitely. Hopefully he's light.
True.
Hopefully that gives you something or other to think about, though. Taking a look, you handled it pretty well. Just a couple of flesh wounds. No big deal.
Yeah.
But again, the data sometimes will show you something different than what you think. But first, you have to collect the data. That really is what it comes down to. Obviously, going back in time trying to collect data or trying to fit something in doesn't work very well, and I certainly did that. Started keeping track of where I was buying stuff from as of 2019. Doesn't mean there weren't things prior to 2019 that I didn't know where I got it from, but at that point it just wouldn't be worth it to go because A, I might be making mistakes, and B, to what end?
Right.
To learn that, oh wow, in 2015 thrift stores were a good place. That doesn't really help me a lot today. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Do hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.